I'm here. Are we ready for this? I don't know if I'm ready for this, but we'll give it a go. How is everyone? Kat is here. Hello, Kat. Haven't talked to you in a while. So is Ron at Canadian Maker Project. Haven't talked to Ron in a minute either. Non-fam, what is up? Dom is here. Hello. So, I've had some coffee. Hank and I just got done sharing some cold pizza from yesterday. So we're in good shape. This has been an interesting week, to say the least. All kinds of stuff happened. Keith from St. Joe Vintage PC is here. Hello. So if you tuned in last week, same bat time, same bat channel, we did the Mingda Magician. And in all fairness, it's a pre-release 3D printer. It's not for sale. They are going to set up a Kickstarter for it. Okay? It is made out of injection molded plastic. You can go back and watch that stream if you like. Whatever you want to do with that. It will remain on YouTube. We got it to print. It leveled. It did all the things that it needed to do. And the print wasn't too bad. Honestly. That Benchy looks pretty good if you check it out at the end of the stream. Well, an unfortunate chain of events happened after that stream. The stream was viewed by the company, and a member of that company decided to send me an email, which was very nice, by the way. It was not, you know, there was no threatening or anything like that. They just asked if I would please take the video down because it did not put their product in a good light. You know, and that request was fair enough. Of course, I don't take videos down. That's not what I do. Once it's up, it's up. And if you don't want anybody to see the product before it's released, then don't send it to me. But they were very nice about it. But that email that I received, I probably should have never received it. I think it was a decision made by someone on their own that probably wasn't in the best interest of the company. Quite frankly, if they wouldn't have sent anything out at all, this would have just gone nowhere. It would have blown over. Nobody probably ever known it except a couple of hundred people that watch that stream. But then the next move that they made was to send an email to Joel Telling, asking him what they should do about my live stream because it doesn't put their product in a very good light. Well, that's Joel being the person that he is. I do know Joel. I've met him several times. We talk occasionally. I would consider him a friend of mine. Knowing him, that didn't set very well. And he, as you know, he has a lot more followers and subscribers than I do. So that didn't turn out well. Then after that, Naomi Wu got involved. And this all happened on Twitter. You can go back and see all of this unfold if you'd like. At Chris Riley 3D is what I am on Twitter. Naomi Wu got involved, and she has like millions of followers. So that didn't go well. And then Angus over at Maker's Muse got involved. And he actually made a whole video on how these companies treat some folks. And all of this has been cleared up. Mingda has apologized to me. They've put out statements publicly. I even got a direct email from the person that I was communicating with at Mingda. They apologized to me personally. Mistakes were made. I get it. But I'll end with my original statement. It was a really interesting week. Let's put it that way. So that's not going to happen today. That's not going to happen today. there's a ton of people in chat, and I appreciate you all being here. I know I missed some stuff. Now, this printer, we're going to move on. This is the Elegoo Neptune 2. Elegoo has reached out to me several times over the years, wanting to know if I would like to check out their stuff. I don't do SLA 3D printing. It's just not something I enjoy. It's kind of a mess, but they are known for Mars, Mars 2, the different, more affordable SLA machines. Well, they also have this one. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this printer is any different than most of the printers that you see coming out on the market. I don't know anything about it. That's what we're going to find out today. But what I can tell you is this is the lowest cost one with the same sets of features that you see on a lot of machines that I have seen recently. I'm not even sure how they build these for what they charge. These are only 160 bucks. So I thought it was worth our time to check it out, figure out maybe why it costs $160, and just see the overall quality. So that's how this one came about. I thought it was kind of interesting at the price point. But it's going to be very similar to a lot of the printers that you've seen before, I'm sure. So that's what we're going to do today. We'll get this open, we will check it out, and hopefully get out a good print. Again, Benjamin Ford, hello. Kat wants some more SLA printers. We can do that. A bit laggy. Is it laggy today? I saw there were a few dropped frames a little bit ago. Hopefully that clears up. Tom Llama is here. Steven is here. Awesome. So, let's see what we got here. Let's see, how high will this one go? I'll do my best to show you kind of what's in here. And let's get to it. So, we're good now. Awesome. We'll let that come through. That'll test our text-to-speech.
At this price, it's cheaper than a G-Tech i3 Pro B.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much for the 20, Derek. You are absolutely right. It is cheaper than a G-Tech Pro B. And those owners of the G-Tech Pro B know exactly what we are talking about. I happen to be one of them. Tom said that some streams you've watched today have been bouncing. I kind of wonder if, Sunday is a very popular IT maintenance day. I kind of wonder if Sunday is probably the worst day to stream because of that. Who knows what their maintenance window actually is. A large organization like that. They have a pretty hefty user manual. It does list out all the parts. It looks pretty good. It appears to have filament runout. Alrighty. They do have branded extrusion. You probably want to actually see that. There you go. It does have a touch screen. The bed is removable. It has clips on it. The hot end is pretty much just a Creality clone. It looks exactly the same, as well as the part fan and the hot end fan. It is almost identical, which is what I was expecting. Power cord. X carriage with the filament sensor. All your tools. Spool holder.
On my second Neptune 2. The first one was no bueno. Elegoo was good about replacing it though.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the 5, Andrew. That is great to hear that they are working with people. You know how these things go. Ooh, I like the PSU. It's black instead of chrome. And it's set to 230, so be aware of that. I do like to hear that they're working with folks. That doesn't happen at every company, so that is valuable in itself, knowing that somebody actually worked with you on it. There is a screw missing, but it's right here. No big deal. Cat, thank you very much for the 20. That is much appreciated. I did set up Nightbot again today, so it will give you some information. Let's see how it actually reads that.
Giggity giggity giggity, just wanted to type this and hear it.
It read it a lot better than I thought it was going to. 3D printing in the cave. Thank you very much for the 20. That was much appreciated.
Hi Chris, your live streams are the best. Let's test text-to-speech with some Swiss words. Gruezi chu chechishli uf wiederlugathats hello cookie box and goodbye in English cold sweat smile.
Hello cookie box? Thank you very much for the 20. That's much appreciated, and the funny things that text-to-speech will say. That's great. Thank you, Kat. I appreciate that. Somebody said they bought a printer at Walmart? Walmart is selling 3D printers for $142? That's news to me. That's pretty awesome if they are, though. I don't know how it is all over the world. But here in the States, if you live in the Midwest like I do, I'm almost exactly in the middle of the country. In a lot of smaller towns, Walmart is all they have. So that would be a pretty cool notion if there were 3D printers at Walmart stores. That's pretty cool. How is the Z-Rod? It's got a little chug to it. It's got just a little bit of wobble in there. It's towards the top. Not the worst one I've ever seen, though.
Buen dia Chris, no te emociones mucho por el número son solo 25 centavos disappointed.
The different languages just makes it worth it. Thank you very much for the 50. I appreciate that. That's awesome. It won't roll off the desk. There you go. It'll keep it put. Okay, what kind of hardware we got here? James is streaming a $100 Walmart printer tomorrow afternoon. Excellent. Is that James at Rushmire 3D? Is that the James we're talking about? I would actually like to see that. I was thinking about 3D printers. Imagine that. This is probably the second or third, maybe, most affordable 3D printer that we've ever done. Do you remember the iMaker Start? We did that in like 2017. It was a little mini acrylic. It was like a miniature A8, basically. But those were 99 bucks. I don't know whatever happened to that project. The printer was not very good. But It was affordable. I have to say that. It was affordable. I believe my buddy 3D Maker Kid had. Do you want the sample? I believe he had a iMaker Start. Yes, I believe he had one. All right, what are we doing? Looks so small. It does kind of look small. It is a 220, 220, 250 machine, by the way. So this one does have the typical. I mean, it's pretty much your standard build.
Chris, are you my sussy baka?
I don't know what that is, but sure. Thank you very much for the 2. All right. Pretty much the same stuff. You got some M5 by 45s that bolt through the bottom. Nothing real creative here. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're just trying to put together a printer that's decent at low cost, which I respect that. That's not a bad way to go. They have little protectors. That's kind of interesting. That's the stuff I like about the printers, is what little things that they've added. They have little protectors on the ends of the screws for the bed wheels. Just little pieces of silicone or whatever. That's kind of creative. I'll give it that. You don't want to hurt your fingers. We got this one. How's the power supply line up? All right. It's the little things. So,
have you considered building a Voron?
Thank you very much, Steve, for the 5. I have considered building a Voron. I have some parts to build one. Haven't got around to it yet. There's a lot of Voron builds out there. I would say that we are somewhat saturated with Voron builds. They look good. But I've got some other things that are ahead of that. So we'll see if we get to Voron. We'll see. Leftover handle dip. That's absolutely probably what happened. That is true, Mike. That's a very common thing. You'll see at least one of the bed knobs just loose in the box. So there you go. That's a nice little add-on. Right. I'm gonna let that level itself before I tighten that up. What do we have on this side? What do they intend? They want your end stop in the fronts and your motors in the backs. Party in the back, business in the front. Tom, the Maker Viking, is here. What's up, Tom? Any bets? Sure, it's going to print from the start. We got to stay positive, right? We got to stay positive. So I said this has been an interesting week. It wasn't just, it was all downhill from Sunday afternoon, I got to tell you that. That's not true. There was some pretty interesting things that happened. So, let's talk about wrestling, shall we? So, growing up a kid in the 80s, wrestling was where it was at, right? Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Andre the Giant. I mean, wrestling was the coolest thing ever when I was like 5 or 6 years old. Well, during COVID, and my wife watched wrestling when she was a kid. During COVID, my wife started watching wrestling again. And it's a lot different now than it was when I was a kid. They've have now, I mean, there's like two storylines. It's a soap opera, basically, right? There's a couple of different storylines going on. I don't watch much of it, but I do occasionally see what's going on, right? I'm not as up on it as she is. But nowadays there's all kinds of women wrestlers. There's all types of shenanigans that weren't there when I was a kid. Well, I don't know if anybody watches wrestling now with their kids or anything like that, but WWE was in Kansas City on Monday, and my wife really wanted to go see it. So I went with her to see WWE. And let me tell you, that was an experience. If you watch it, you can actually see me on TV. Like when the wrestlers were coming out, I was standing like right over here in the crowd. You can actually see me on TV. So, they asked me to wrestle. I told them I was retired. But it was an experience, ladies and gentlemen. I have to tell you that. Mean Gene, that's right. You watch the old live streams when you take everything with your Prusa? Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you gotta stay calm. But, on that side of things, though, we've done so many of these now. There's nothing to get upset about. It's fine. And I don't think companies should get upset either. It's okay. Give it another try. Basically performance art. I would agree with that. It's an experience. So that happened on Monday. Probably gonna have to have an actual wrench for that. Do they give you ball-ended wrenches? They do. Excellent. I'm famous now. Yes, I am. Finally. I'm waiting for this to come up. Come on, Stream. What is this one? Stream Labs? You can do it. Read it. Coolest guys on live streams you've ever seen? Well, I appreciate that. Why didn't he read Gary's thing? There we go. Oh.
WWF back in the day. Roddy Piper, Andre the Giant. I remember back in the day Saturday main event.
That's right. Ron, thank you very much for the 5. I don't know why it didn't read Gary's tip, but thank you very much, Gary, for the 20. He is going broke building a rat rig from scratch. 9 printers need an intervention? 9's an okay number. Start getting concerned around the 15 mark. You'll be good. Dave Wilson is here. What's up, Dave? So is Dan. Fix Some Dude is here. Non-fam, what is up? All the cool kids are here today. Andrew is here. Alright, what are we doing? So wrestling happened on Monday. Let me just tell you about my whole week, shall I? Wrestling happened on Monday. And then Tuesday morning, I wake up and the air conditioner isn't working. And last week, it is actually finally, weather report, finally it is going to only be like 82 here today or something like that. So finally we have some cooler weather. So that's awesome. But the air conditioner doesn't work when I wake up, and that's always a great feeling. I'm like, great. What do I got to do now? Fortunately, I know some of the coolest people in the whole world.
Keep up the good reviews and information.
Tony, thank you very much for the 10. That is much appreciated. I will do my best. So, yes, I know some of the coolest people in the whole world. One of them being Sergio over at HVAC A to Z and Millennium HVAC is his company. I kid you not, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, my time. He's an hour ahead of me. I sent him a message and said, hey man, don't know if you can help, but what should I check on my air conditioner because it's currently not working? And within minutes, he was on the phone diagnosing my air conditioner via live chat, video chat, and he figured it out. I went and bought a new capacitor, and I had it back up and running by noon. And that was awesome. One, the fact that Sergio was so willing to help, but two, we saved a lot of money by not having to call someone, and it's been so hot around here, who knows when a tech would have showed up. And we were just very fortunate that it was only a capacitor. But publicly, I'm going to say thank you very much, Sergio. You saved the day. Because, honestly, I've never had to work on an air conditioner too much. So that saved me a lot of YouTube video watching. And, you have somebody you trust. So that happened on Tuesday. Oh, by the way, that's one thing that I keep forgetting to do. It's always the capacitor. The flux capacitor. It wasn't near as cool as the flux capacitor. That's one thing I've been forgetting to do is, Tom, I need to catch up with you on VS Code. That's one thing I meant to get done this week, and I didn't. Thursday, I had to go into the office overnight and fix some stuff, so that's always interesting. It's just been a heck of a week. A lot busier week than I usually have, honestly. Lowe's finally dropped off the rest of the subfloor to finish out the rest of the basement floor, so that's cool. Finally got that done. Well, see, that's the really, Chris says about the blower motor wouldn't start. That was kind of the odd thing on mine. So my condenser is a Janitrol, which is not a very expensive condenser. That was the odd thing to me, because the fan was going, the compressor just wouldn't start. So the fan was running just fine. And I expected if the capacitor was bad, or because there's really not a lot in there, right? The capacitor, a relay, a compressor, just a handful of parts. I really thought, well, maybe it was the relay that wouldn't kick the compressor on, because the fan was running. So that threw me for a moment. But that's when you phone a friend and they figure that stuff out. Tom, Maker Viking, thank you very much for the 10. That is much appreciated. Jerry for 3D printing and paintings here. Not all that much of a rush. Excellent. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that one is a 2-stage capacitor or not. It must be. Tony, thank you. All right, what are we doing now? Now we need to put the other side of the X on. Okay. Check the capacitor first. Well, the capacitors were pretty affordable. I'm lucky that I found some guy local that would sell to the public, honestly, because that's not a huge thing around here, selling parts like that to non-licensed people. So that was very fortunate. I found one, but they were also very inexpensive. So I bought a backup capacitor in case I ever need another one, and they were only like 13 bucks a piece. So that was good too. Didn't cost a lot of money. Belt. They have this picture of the X carriage here, and it looks like a linear rail. Like, linear rail? What? But it's not a linear rail. Yes, we should have totally put the X carriage on first and paid attention to what page we were on. You think after building 5 or 6 of these, I'd know that. Yes, the install. Well, you know, the HVAC guys, they know a lot more than I do. So when they come out, in all fairness, when they come out, you know, they do all the checks to make sure everything's good and freon levels and all that good stuff, which, you know, I don't have gauges or anything like that to check freon, nor would I try. Joel Driver, thank you. Duet to Wi-Fi. You said you found a replacement bed. I think you said that last week. Where did you find it? Gusner's here. What's up, Gusner? A realish semi-kit build? That's very descriptive, Tom. Very descriptive. A philosopher he is. There we go. Nope. Stay on. This housing is a little small. Looks good in Canada. You Canadian folks. Somebody told me, or I heard somewhere the other day, that there's only like 40 million people in Canada. Is that true? That seems low to me for some reason. You know, that's something I could have Googled instead of asking all of you all, but, you know, then you can save me the time. It does have a kind of a different tensioner. That's kind of cool. All the Derek C's are in the same place. We have a few. $38 million. Yeah. You learn something new every day, I tell you. I never really thought about it, but seemed low. I don't really think I know what I'm doing. Honestly, 3D printers, they seem hard. Let's stop now, because I've done two things backwards so far that I shouldn't have. Let's just forget about the whole thing. Come on, man. Have you ever seen a 3D printer before? I think we should just stop and drink coffee. Let's drink coffee instead of building printers. I have to stop reading chat for a moment so I can actually decide how 3D printers work. I wish it was benchy time already, I can tell you that. The problem is with this one, so on most of these designs, the clips for the belt, these, are actually down just a little bit further. This has a really close clearance to this X. So I'd like to get it all in place at the same time, but you need about 5 hands to get that done. So I think I'm going to there's no way around it. I'm going to have to put the bottom belt holder on last. So let's just go for it. Let's just fight it. Let's just fight it. The only problem is with it being cooler outside, it's a lot warmer down here. Because the air conditioner doesn't run near as much. So it's very warm down here today. I forgot what I was doing. Flashbacks. Daniel Norray is here. What is up, Daniel? Swear a little bit. You know you want to. A little swearing never hurt anybody, right? Daniel, thank you for joining the stream. I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you very much for the 50. Much appreciated, my friend. If you don't know Daniel Norray, where have you been? He's the man that brought us Open RC. and the Benchy. Where would my 3D printing channel be without the Benchy? Nobody'd ever watch it. They come just for the Benchy prints. Now we got it. That was a thinker. But this one actually has kind of a nice tensioner, where a lot of them don't have anything. It's a couple of bolts, but you can move that whole bracket. So that's cool. You don't have to mess with the T-nuts on the usual Creality setup. Yes, looking forward to seeing everyone at MRF 2022. I will be there, pending any other global crisis. And Daniel and I will high five. And ironically, I won't high five Joel Telling. I will just hug him.
There is usually a plastic film on the bed under the build surface that needs to be removed. Just a heads up.
Andrew, thank you very much for the 5. Good tip. I have never seen one that had plastic on it, honestly. Those screw heads on that X, fairly clear. Just a little tight. But it's on. What else?
Yes, benchies are the only reason I watch.
Truer words have never been said. Thank you very much, Michael, for the $5. Fix 'em, dude! If you've never seen Fix 'em Dude's models, he makes some really creative stuff. Joel is a good hugger. I am not ashamed to admit I have hugged Mr. Telling a couple of times over the years. Yes, Daniel, we absolutely should make that happen. I want to get updates and see what you're doing, all that good stuff. We should do a live stream and just have a chat.
We won a 300 benchy.
300% benchy? I have one of those laying around here somewhere, if you'd like me to go grab it. Who switched this wrench? Valentino, thank you very much for the 50. Produce more benchies. That's all we do it for. The only reason why we do it around here. Speaking of benchies, you know, we did the whole printed solid contest thing. On Benchy Road, that's right. What's up, Zimmy? Haven't seen you in a while. Larry's here. Hello. So is Scott Hackmonkey. What is up? What was I talking about? Oh, printed solid contest. We had the contest. We announced the winners. All that is over and everything. I produced a video about the winners, and there's some commentary in there about, you know, with the judges, and there, some of them tell stories, and some of it's actually pretty interesting. So even if you don't care about the winners, watch the video, because some of the stuff that those folks say is very entertaining. Vedran tells a story in there about printing his first benchy, and it's priceless. It's priceless. And then Ivan Miranda blames me for one of the contest entries not turning out like it should have, which was also very funny. Ivan had me rolling that whole time. Ivan is hysterical. I was ruining the parts of the video that I wanted to show because I was laughing too much. There you go, like the duck pond game. Chris from Ventura 3D's here, by the way. Hello, Chris. Yeah, Jerry. The guys really like the Christmas tree. Uh, that was we talked about the Christmas tree quite a bit. Nicely done. Got our Z screw on. It's fairly straight. So now that X is on and kind of at the bottom there, now I'm going to tighten up these bottom ones. If you're putting something together like this and you intend on using it, this is going to be your printer. I highly suggest you take the time to make sure all the extrusions are actually straight, they're flush. If you have the means and they're not, recut them if you have to. Just make sure it's all nice and level before you put it together. Me, we don't have time for such things. We have benchies to print. But I have seen different qualities of these kits. Sometimes they need a little help. Whoa! You had 400 spools at that time? Two printers, only one works. That's very common, Tony. 16 benchies. Not bad, not bad. I won't even make a guess of how many I have. 400 spools? Jeez. I would guess I probably had, like, I've only had 500 spools of filament total in my whole life. That's a lot of spools. New Chris t-shirt. I always get hit with t-shirt ideas. People get really creative. Power supply, I guess, would be good. What kind of screws we got? I do like the fact that it's black. Nice touch. Only one benchy. Your benchy needs friends. They get lonely without each other. Hello, power supply. Where is the proper location for this? Hello? That was a thinker. There we go.
Judging by the number of benchies made so far, you should rename your channel to Chris Shipyard.
Derek, thank you very much for the 5. Chris's Shipyard. Pretty good name. I don't know if that is stripped or if it's just maybe the end of that screw is a little wonky. Maybe. Huh. Battle benchy. There's all kinds of cool benches out there. I like submarine benchy. That's one of my favorites. That is a shame. The top hole on this PSU almost looks like somebody tried to retap it, because it is not 4mm any longer, but I don't think it's quite 5 either. Not a huge problem, but still irritating. They didn't do like something creative here that I don't know about, right? Nope. So that's a bummer. Again, not a huge deal. How big is this hole? It's a 4mm hole as well. The top, it's been stripped. So that's no good, but we'll press on. I could JB weld it and retap it. Benchamus Prime. Alright. We're pretty much done here. We gotta wire up. I have to tension that belt. Plastic sheet on the bed, you say? I know that table camera isn't doing you any favors. Probably can't see much. Yes! Interesting. You know, honestly, I don't know if I would have looked at this. Probably not. That's a nice sheet, though. We should stick this on something. There you go. Boom. How are the carriages on this? X is nice. Let's go ahead and tension that while we're doing this. Need something bigger than that. What are those 4s? What is that, a chicken? I don't know where that came from. I don't know if I like that or not. Give that another go. I could probably use some washers underneath those screw heads, if I were to say. Alright. Go ahead and strip that out. That'll work. Okay, belt's good. X carriage is good. I did notice that their leads, they have left the lead screw nut loose, and I see that quite often because some manufacturers will tell you that that's how you cure your Z wobble. I'll just loosen that nut up. It'll be fine. So I don't particularly want to do that. It does have lock washers on the bottom of it. Thought I had 1600 on there for a minute. 4. Learned a lot. Oh. You know, I don't know anything about... I appreciate the comment on my video. I'm glad that helped you out. I don't know a lot about that smart filament sensor. That's one of the boards from them I've never had. There are a few folks that have done videos on it. But I am kind of surprised it doesn't work with the 1.4. That's like the most popular board they've ever had. Alright. Some wiring. Where? Oh, that's for the Z and stuff. I'm like, what? That's kind of short for a filament runout wire. The Z stop is adjustable.
Does the Z anti-backlash screw does really something? Or it's marketing?
Valentino, thank you again. 50, appreciate it. Is it just marketing? Well, yes and no. So, my filament detection, my personal preference is to use Delrin Z nuts. Because they don't have the slop they don't as bad. They still do have some, but to get rid of that backlash, to minimize the backlash issue, I like to use the palm nuts or Delrin nuts, whatever you'd like to call them. That's my preferred way of doing it. These are brass. The anti-backlash, I think it does help. How much, I couldn't tell you. Because on a 3D printer, that nut is always loaded, right? It's preloaded. And that's really the only thing you have to worry about. But then you have to consider things like if you do Z-hop or something like that, then you are going to see some action on that, and it could mess some things up. So, I mean, in certain instances, yes, it's going to help, and a backlash is going to help. How much, your mileage will vary. The bed is just a little loose. Not much at all. Very nice. Okay. Is everything on? Is everything wired? I think so. Okay.
I am installing a Mosquito and Orbiter on my Ender 5 Plus while watching your stream. I am still waiting for thermal paste to arrive. Can I get away without it for a week? Or is that a bad idea?
Thank you for the 10. I would probably wait on the thermal paste, honestly. I think I would go ahead and wait to put it on, because you might get creep. Oh, I hear Hank. Hold on just a moment. I'm sorry to do this to you. Hold on just a moment. Let me go let him in real quick. I will be right back. Sorry. That power supply screw is kind of annoying. There. So we'll power up here. Ready? One beat. There we go. It actually has a little bit different menu than I'm used to seeing. It's hard to see. It's red. Interesting. Yes, as I was saying before, I had to mute, or I was muted. Hank is getting old, and sounded like he was having some issues, but a few meds, stick him outside. I'll probably have to run up there again in a couple minutes to put him inside. But he should be okay. The extrusion covers on these love to fall off. That is definitely going to need some hot glue. Well, so no smoke, that's good. Orange would be better, absolutely. Let's preheat. To 210 and 60. Let's home and check the level on this Z and stop. It could be the air conditioner that you hear. Bad microphone today. Could be the background noise that's causing all the problems. It's less hot here today, but it's still hot. Do they have a disable? They do. They have motors off. One thing I already noticed, though, the bed springs on this are very light. What extruder? It's the old plastic injection molded extruder that you see on pretty much everything. Take the Z in stop down just a bit. The machine is actually level. You're going to see it rocking back and forth because I have a really unlevel spot on this table. It's two sections of flooring, and where it's creased, where I put it together, it's really starting to bubble up. The printer isn't in all that bad a shape, but the table sure is. There. That's a good question. I don't know what the difference on the Neptune 1 was. Those extruders are your nemesis. Yeah, not my fave. I think I'm finally out of pieces of paper. Audio seems good there. Good, good, good. Use the manual. The manuals are always so slick. Feeler gauge is a good way to go. It's a little different workflow than using a piece of paper, but if you got one and you're familiar with using one, sure, works great. All right. What kind of filament do we want today? It's much more level there. What did we do last time? We did that brown color last time, didn't we? Where is the old spool holder? We did orange not too long ago. Something bright blue. James Cameron is here. Excellent. Oh, by the way, this thing for drivers, somebody mentioned quiet. It has 2225s in it, which is really close to a 2208, but not exactly the same. Something bright blue. How about this is kind of a cool color. This is printed solid Jesse P. Olay, if you couldn't have guessed. That's the filament we're using today. This color is Pure Cheyenne. I've never actually used this color before, but it looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. One feature I did notice on this printer that I like a lot, more than the other machines that are like this, is that the hot end fan only turns on when the hot end's up to temp. Huge bonus. It doesn't sit there and run constantly. I really like that. Team Orange. Now all we need is a file. We do have micro SD card, boards upside down inside the enclosure. Did they give you a card? Yes, they did. Oh, they give you collet clips too, which I didn't put on. Oh, they have one on the Hotends side. What are we making? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you are new here, one thing that we do is we print a lot of benchies. So let's see what's on their SD card. They have a Buddha test G code on the SD card. That could be interesting. I have too many different default profiles for the Ender 3-like printers. What is the retraction on this one? Let's go with 4 millimeters for this one, just because there. Let's do this. Chris is a benchy man. What's up, James? Ooh, sweet.
Print a fidget spin made with benchies.
A fidget spinner made of benchies. Thank you very much for the 20. Much appreciated. You've been hitting me with all kinds of tips today. Thank you. I'll move this over here. Oh, wrong way. Check this out. The screen is kind of hard to see, but it does have the icons of what it actually is. So there's their little test Buddha print. It doesn't show the benchy, but I don't remember in Prusa Slicer there's something you have to tick to get that to go over there. I'll have to figure that out. But I do like that feature. That makes it a lot handier when you're scrolling through these things. All right. Let me move this around so you don't get sick while I'm doing it. That's no fun.
Make the wife happy. Drop a DDT on live stream.
A DDT? Oh, and it's printing beautifully. Looks like it had some gray test filament in there. A DDT. Derek C., thank you for the 10. That's one thing that kills me about wrestling. It's all their super secret moves, you know, There you go. And we're printing. Yeah, I kind of like that screen. I don't know that I would have chosen red. Maybe you can change that up in the options. But it is a nice screen. I like that. And I like that color of filament. That's cool too. Jake the Snake. Oh man, I don't remember what he called that. But you know, like when you were down for the count, he'd throw the snake on you. I remember that. uh, let's make sure the part fan is gonna kick on. Yeah, it's kind of tucked under the bed, isn't it? It is kind of under there a bit. We still don't know what a DDT is. What does DDT even stand for? I'd have to look it up, but that was always the big move, body slam. All right, we were talking about wrestling earlier. Earlier, for those of you that weren't on the stream. Okay, coffee break. I'm gonna go let the dog in. Everybody grab some coffee, and we will hang out while this thing prints. Okay? Sounds good. Okay, I'm back. How's it look? It looks pretty good. I don't see it curling or anything. Now on this one, I did notice looks way too hot. The part fan is on the other side from like what an Ender 3 or something would be. So having the Vinci turned in that fashion as we usually do, the front of it probably, the overhang probably isn't going to look all that great. That is some interesting action there in the front though. I wonder what our actual temperatures are. Because it kind of looks like it's melty. I didn't like accidentally set it to 250 or something. No, it's 210-60. That might be worth getting the thermocouple out and seeing how hot that actually is. Even with, that might be worth a look to see if the thermistor is even okay. Even with no part cooling, I don't think I've ever seen it get that hot. It's pretty quiet. It's got, I mean, you can hear some fan noise, but it's not near as bad as some that I've seen. There is a fan in the PSU, but it does not run all the time, apparently. Well, it's running now. Maybe it does run all the time. It's running, but the duct isn't getting any of the air over there, apparently. Yes, fan is at 100%. They actually do they show that information on the screen. It's set at 255. It has a shark's mouth. It does look kind of sad, doesn't it? It's got a frowny face. Verge, subscribe to Print Solid monthly subscription. Excellent. You won't be disappointed. It's good stuff. Fan noise is fine. It's not real noisy at all. WFO's here. Hello. It looks like the part fan duct is actually part of the front cover. Like the whole front cover grill and everything covering the hot end, it's all built into that. So that might be a little tricky to remodel a duct for this. Extruder sounds like a ticking clock. Well, that's no good. More than one airhead in the monthly box. I agree. I need 5 candies in my box. Does any manufacturer sell a printer where the part cooling works? Prusa, I don't remember what if it was Mark II or Mark III, one of them. Uh, it worked so good it would cause thermal runaway when it first came out. I mean, you can feel some, but Um, there's slots in the side too where the hot end fan can push air out, so it's kind of hard to tell. There's not much air under there though. And it could be, who knows what the quality of that fan is? Maybe this one just doesn't have a very good fan. Might be able to switch it out to something a little higher grade. Cool, there's already an upgrade on Fangs for the Neptune 2. Excellent. Thank you for that information. Mark III had that issue. Are there known issues with Marlin with a basic config on the Ender 5 Plus? Not that I know of, but I've never dealt with a Plus before. uh, when how D12? No, I never tried a D12. Thank you for the 50. What is ARS? I'd have to look that up.
Did you try the Wanhao D12? It's kinda good dual Z dual color with dual drive extruders. It even have stabilizer rods.
Marlin trying to heat the bed and the hot end at the same time? That sounds like something's up in the pins file. Yeah, that was James is talking about the X5S. That was pretty strange. We got those printers really close together, and ours were a lot different from one another. It's like 20 cents. That's fine. We still get to hear the thing talk, so that's good. I'm surprised it will let you put that in. I don't know how they do conversions with Super Chat.
Have a Canadian toonie, the Chris Riley.
The Chris Riley. Thank you very much, James, for the 2 Canadian. $32-bit mainboard. Somebody was asking about that. I wasn't thinking when I was putting this together. We should have opened it up and looked at it. I'm pretty sure it does though. Let's just find out. Yes, it does have a 32-bit motherboard. I said this before, but it has 2225 drivers, which are really close to 2228s. They have kind of the same features. But it does not say what type of board it is, which they almost never do. Not bad for 160 bucks, I have to say. Definitely gonna have to have some part cooling action. Robin Nano, that is a great bet. It's a shame benchies don't float. They float capsized. It is kind of sad to see one floating upside down. Yeah, I've thought about that before. If we sized up the benchies a little bit, we'd have a little bit more room to work with. It would be nice if you could like pause the print and toss something in there inside the infill to get them to float upright. I don't know exactly what you would do, but I think somebody did that. Now that I'm thinking about that, didn't somebody do a video where they reworked the benchy somehow so that it would float upright? Just print 100% infill. I wonder how much filament it takes to print 100% benchy. I've never done that. Lead shot. There you go. Yes, the hot end on this is almost identical to the one that Creality uses. It might, in fact, be the same one. Yep, you could use the variable infill setting. That's available in Prusa Slicer as well. Andy is here. What's up, Andy? You are very welcome for the help the other day. No problem. Put a Bontech on it. Are people still using simple? I still hear people use it all the time, James. It's still pretty common. Three hours and 8 minutes. 6.69 meters. Nice. What is my favorite extruder right now? That's a tough question. I mean, for replacement for the Ender 3, I still think the EZR is a good bet. It's affordable, works pretty good. It'll handle flexible pretty good. Um, and it's like a direct swap out. So for these style machines, I think the EZR is kind of the way to go. I don't know that I'd spend a whole lot more money on an extruder. You can get those aluminum extruders now that have the dual gears. They're not too bad. Yes, it's a lot quieter than the stock Ender 3, I can tell you that. You can eat anything if you're brave enough. I've never heard that one before, but I guess that's true. Don't eat things that aren't food. Good advice. So what is everybody else doing with the rest of their day? James, are you and Glenn streaming this afternoon? Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about now. I really like the Omnia Drop extruders. They are pricey. I mean, don't get me wrong, but they're laid out really well. Max has put a lot of effort into this whole contraption, and they work really good. You can check them out there at that link. But they are pricey. It's a one man machine over there too, so he's had to source all this himself and all that good stuff. Thomas is working on his designs for 3D printers. That's always good. Back to school tomorrow. Already? It's only going to be August 2nd. I think the kids around here go back the 15th, I want to say. Omnia drops are good. They are. Taking the family to the park. That sounds like a good idea. James, send me the info, please, so I can stop by and check that out. So I will remember to do it. Arizona starts really early. Which speed parameters? Well, that's always hard to tell. Focus, camera. You can do that. I swear. Um, I can tell you what my settings are, but auto cool is on, and on the benchy, that's really going to slow you down because there's a lot of layers that are within that time limit. But I can tell you what the speed settings are set to. Perimeters are 40, infill is 60, small perimeters are 15, external are 20, solid infill is 20, top solid infill is 15, and then bridges are 60 and gap fill is 20. Turn autofocus off. Then I'd have to figure it out. There's at some point it will stop looking at stuff behind it. There's actually a pretty nice interface for this thing. Piece of software. But I don't use it very often. Let's try that. There we go. The layers on this thing actually look pretty good. I do like this Cheyenne color. That's a good color. Can I build your X5S for you? I can't. There's now a law where I'm not allowed to work on an X5S. Any other machine, I would gladly come and do it, but they won't let me work on that one anymore. Dave Randolph's back. Hello, Dave. Dave, we're using pure Cheyenne. I really like this color. Nicely done. Mr. Martin Jensen just subscribed. Thank you very much. It just refuses. Yeah. I know. In fact, I sent my X5S to Brandon, Techie Dad. He is a YouTuber. I don't know if he ever got that working or what he did with it. I sent James some parts off of it, so it wasn't a complete printer when I sent it to Brandon. But I'm sure he used the parts for something. Yeah, agreed. Some of the cooling got straightened out. I wonder what the actual temperature is. Where's my... let me go find my thermometer. We can at least see how hot the bed is. I was curious if it was the bed that was cut. Yeah, so the bed is like almost 70°C. That's part of the problem. And I'm sure it's even hotter than that. So the bed is way too hot. That's what's causing that low down cooling issue. So definitely going to have to check the thermistor on that bed. Make sure it's working correctly. We'll lower it down to a couple of degrees and see if that makes a difference. Motorhead Mitch is here. What's up, Mitch? Installing a breaker box. Nice. VA3 FUC Ham Radio, thank you for the sub. Yeah, PID tuning for the bed is usually disabled on most of these kits, and that is a shame. That's a very easy thing to turn on. That would be somewhat handy. Don't use heat bed for PLA? Yeah. That used to be a really common thing to do. Or it used to be really common for printers not to have a heated bed. One of the best things about printed solid Jesse PLA, talking about all the colors that they have 3 different colors of orange. So that's always good in my book. You have, what is it, mystery orange, safety orange, and then Brad's orange. All very nice colors in their own right. Yes, the mystery orange is the retina burning orange that we all know and love. That is my favorite, I believe. The ice orange, I believe, was a one-off. There's like a transparent-ish orange. Uh, I believe that was just for the monthly box. This is 10% infill. I'm using grid. Safety dance orange. Neon brown. I really need to try. I need to get a black light so I can try that. Everybody's telling me that neon brown is cool under black light. Got to do it. Oh, excellent, Ron. Well, thank you for the dual sub. Having the bed heat that up that high, that benchy might be on there permanently. Back down to like 55 now, so that's better anyway. Emojis. You gotta love emojis. I'm gonna stop using words. Just gonna do emojis from now on. Not a bad first print at all. I totally agree. It's doing a very nice job, and we hit it on the first time. We didn't have to mess around with it much. And as far as adjusting things, it's not. I mean, I had to adjust the bed just a little bit, and the wheels on the X just a little bit, but not near as far out of scope as some of these machines that we've tried. So all in all, I'm pretty happy, especially for something that costs around 160 bucks. No linear advance on a 2225. I thought they solved all of those problems. I don't know if linear advance is on or not. Most of the time on these machines, they don't enable it. Strain gauge work on sensorless homing. Um, I mean, technically, it would. I mean, you shouldn't need it, right? Uh, I have never had good luck with. I've tried sensorless homing on Z. I've never had good luck getting it to work. 2225 is not the same as a 2208. They have the same types of features. They're really close in the feature set, but they're actually different drivers. You have the latest Marlin and the extruder stops working. Well, that's a shame. Yeah, I've only had a few printers over the years that came with full spools of filament. They are out there, but it's not real common. Lemmings. I haven't seen that one in a while. The 250 gram spools are nice. One, I like the little spools. I like to have some of those around, in case you want to rewrap a sample or something like that. Those are handy to have. But uh, that's enough to get you going. I think that's a fair enough deal with a printer if they give you 250 grams. %. Ouch. Start hoarding your filament, everyone. Actually, don't do that. Forget I said that. 'Yeah, the 500 grams. You're right. I mean, it's nice. Um, I kind of like the Filamentum 750s. It's a nice spool. They're easy to deal with, especially when you're doing multiples like Tool Changer and MMU. When you have 5 of them, they're just a little easier to deal with than the full size spool. Filament gates. Oh no! Don't tag me on that one. That's all I need. Let's skip printing the Benchy. We'll all go have a nap. Absolutely, Mike. That means that's the definition of rich. $20 the cost and 500 is 50%. Wow. Haven't seen a submarine Benchy? Man, I had one. No, maybe I did. I'm pretty sure I had a submarine Benchy sitting around here somewhere. I know I had an aircraft carrier Benchy, but I'm not sure where it went. Now I need to go look. I had one at one time. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure on the cooling. There was definitely an issue though with the bed. The bed was set way too high. I set it to 60 and it was almost 70. So the cooling actually smoothed out a bit as it got away from the bed. So I can't really make a call on that as of yet until we get the bed sorted out. There is some definite airflow. I mean, you can feel it, but it's it could use some more. Let's put it that way. Turns Benchy's into a robot. Transformer Benchy. What Voltron Benchy? Wood fill filament is the new 401k. See you there, James. Kind of a laid back stream today compared to the last stream, huh? All in all, I think this is a pretty, it's a fair kit. We'll see what the price does, you know? I mean, sometimes these things fluctuate. But this might be the new bottom for Ender 3 style machines. I don't know. I don't even know how they make money at this price. I know I've said that a billion times, but geez. Uh, I was just gonna say, of course, it's just good. It's really good filament, of course. See you later, WFO. Thanks for coming. This is probably going to be the last printer unboxing build that we do for a while. I do have some other printers that I need to build, but they are not. Uh, it's all kits, and it's all stuff that we have to self-source. It's nothing from a manufacturer, so those should be interesting. But it won't be. We won't be doing things like this for a little bit. This is the last one that I accepted that somebody offered me that I actually accepted. I've been turning down everything else just so I can get some other stuff done. Sourcing is always a fun adventure, isn't it? A lot of parts are pretty hard to get. No stringing so far. We'll see about when it gets to the wheelhouse. Need more CNC stuff. I agree. I agree. I'm gonna have to have Tom Llama give me a crash course in the software that he uses. I am not the best with setting up jobs and things like that. I can get it done, but I know there's a better way to do it than what I do. McMaster car and money. Nice. More on 2.4. I saw Tom had a video about automatic bed changing out, like he was changing out build plates. I haven't watched it yet, but it sounds interesting. Circuit design, isolation building. That I have thought about that before. I've been kicking around a couple of different PCB designs to get a few things done that I'd like to get done. So that could be a great way to get started. Dave's putting 3D printed parts on the extrusion line. That's awesome. And the 45S and the changer turntable. That doesn't sound familiar. It was cool. Cool. I gotta watch it. Oh, you're talking about 45s. Okay. I got you now. Yes, and the changer turntable. We had one of those when I was a kid, where you could stack them up and the little arm would come out. Yes, I remember that. Now I get it. Yep, I remember that. I remember it had really cool buttons. I liked the mechanism buttons on those. They were like latches, and like you slid it down and it was spring loaded, so it'd pop back. I remember messing around with that when I was a kid. I don't look to be little. I just turned 40. I was pretty small when we had one of those record players, and it was pretty old by then. Nice. Brandon got one for 189 2 weeks ago. Already modding it out. That's cool. Good to hear. That might be a good watch, Dave. I'll have to go check on that. It is a really cool mechanism. I love stuff like that. Like just looking inside of watches and really intricate mechanical mechanisms. That stuff fascinates me. I was trying to think about somebody. A 25-inch TV took up the entire wall in the living room. I was trying to think the other day. What is the biggest tube CRT style TV that you have ever seen? There were some really big ones, real monster ones there before flat screens started to come out. I think the biggest one I ever saw was a 32, and it was huge. It probably weighed, over 100 pounds easy. But I think that's the biggest one I've ever seen. 36, 36, yeah. I had a 24-inch tube computer monitor. It was a beast. Way back in the day. 40-inch HD tube? Nice. Uh,
I lost the start of the stream and I just learned the snafu by Mingda hilarious.
Thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was interesting. It's been an interesting week. I'm glad it's over. Now we can start another one tomorrow. 25-inch console fish tank, awesome. I've seen a few of those over the years. Those always turn out really well. Gateway made a 36 computer monitor. I don't think I've ever seen one of those. That has to be a monster. The weight was an anti-theft feature. Good point. Good point. Same old Shane. Shane is here. What is up, Shane? You are absolutely right. Uh, I'm sure that this one is going to turn out much better than last week did. I'm very confident. Wired remotes. I remember them being on things. We never had one. Uh, we had the same like 19-inch TV like my whole childhood. The same old TV. We didn't get a new like. I think my dad broke down and bought like a 27-inch TV when I was like 10 or 11, and that was the first remote control we ever had. I remember. Uh, I'm surprised Joel isn't here to make sure I stay in the lines. He might be here, but he's not telling. Zing. Anyway, um, what was I gonna say? Oh, I remember when I was a kid talking about your dad almost killed you. Uh, Speaking of TVs, I I don't remember how old I was. 14, maybe something somewhere there. I was building a rubber band ball, right? So I was just going around finding every rubber band I could possibly find, and it had gotten really large. I've been working on it for a couple of months, and it was like bigger than a softball. And if you've ever built a rubber band ball, they are very heavy when they get of size. So it was like bigger than a softball. And I was taunting my brother one day, of course, and my mom had these glass top end tables. And I was taunting him, and I was bouncing it on the floor, and it was really heavy and noisy, and he was getting upset. And and he reaches over, and the ball goes out of control, and it goes up in the air, and then right on the top of my mom's table, and broke the glass top. And my dad's upstairs, and they hear this crash, and all I hear from upstairs is, "Was that my TV?" And I said no. And then he didn't say anything else. He didn't even want to know what happened, just as long as it wasn't the TV. That was a great, great moment. He had priorities. That is for sure. Oh wow, you got your own breaker. How cool is that? Did you break my stuff? All I cared about was the TV. uh, Video discs, yeah. I remember when I was in grade school, we had a laser disc player. I mean, that was like super high tech for a suburban grade school at the time. Of course, the school only had one. It had to be shared by every classroom. But we did have one. I was fascinated by those when they came out. That boy ain't right. uh, I worked with guys from Boston. They had older guys from Boston. In fact, my one main contact, he just retired. Um, that real thick accents, and it's always the clicker. Hey, where's the clicker? uh, it was not the TV. 4 phone lines? Now that is awesome. That's awesome. uh, Boston people are the best. Uh, sometimes they get me going with some of the things that they say. Cracks me up. Dan Adams just switched from the round fuses. If they were round fuses, I did that like 5 years ago. This house still had round fuses. I just switched it over a couple years ago. I think it was only like 60 amp service or something like that when I switched it. Yep, round fuses. I was, occasionally you'd still have to go buy a fuse, and I was kind of shocked that you could actually still get them. We have Sutherland stores here in Missouri, and Kansas has them too, I believe. Um, but they're kind of an old school style hardware store, kind of slash lumberyard, and they would still carry round fuses. I don't really have any side work to do today. I pretty much fixed everything I was going to fix. I can tell you though, I've been trying some filament samples out. This Nebula multicolor protopasta, this stuff is really cool. I might actually have to break down and buy a spool of this. If you like the glittery filaments, that stuff is really sharp. Dun 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 doo. That print didn't come out so great, but the filament just looks awesome, and it's gradient, right? It's kind of changes color while you print. A really cool filament. If you're into the whole protopasta thing. Therapy from the basement. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Still in use, huh? All right. Babbage's. I do remember Babbage's. The mall close up here, we had a Babbage's. And a software and etc. Trial run. Eggheads. Yeah, we had eggheads. Um, I want to say we never went to it because I want to say it was like over on the Kansas side, a little far for me. But yeah, there were eggheads around here. I remember them. Circuit City and Comp USA. Yeah. Member when you could fix them by screwing in a penny. Was it a flea market all weekend? Well, that sounds kind of interesting. Wayne is here. Neptune, not bad, especially for the money. We got it right up in printing. Kit looked pretty good. There was a few little things here and there, but nothing, no showstoppers. So not bad. There's a few things we need to look at, but for the money, looks pretty good to me. I still have my first computer right under here, right on the bottom shelf over here. It's an old 286. It does no longer work though. I did try it not too long ago. It will not post any longer. I should send it to Dave for his museum. Retail is on their site. It says 160. $128 to $256. Yes. I think this is a 1 meg machine. I don't remember. Yeah, I believe it is a 1 meg machine, I believe. Did I reseat the RAM? This one doesn't even have any. It's just got one onboard chip. Ender 3 V2 versus this. Really, the only big advantage to the Ender 3 V2, it's got a pretty nice screen. I like that the vertical screen on it. That's cool and everything. But it's the main board. The original Ender 3, it was always so noisy, and there wasn't a lot of memory on the chip. So with the V2, you got the upgraded board. So that's the big highlight for the V2. This one has all of the same stuff basically a V2 would, plus you get filament runout, and it's a lot cheaper. So I think I would look at this before the V2, honestly. Atari XE. I don't know if I've ever seen that one. Had a turbo button. Mine has the turbo light, but it doesn't have a button. It just has a reset button. You had to set the turbo in the BIOS. Cat's back from cleaning your fish tank. I know all about cleaning your fish tanks. I have to do that a lot. Benchy's looking pretty good. Yes, I agree. Um, oh, Carl Brown is here. What's up, Carl? I remember on my 286, I got a single speed CD-ROM drive. The one with the removable cartridge. In fact, it's still in there. I got a CD-ROM drive, and I didn't have enough. I don't remember what it was. I didn't have enough memory to address the CD-ROM and something else at the same time. So I had to go into auto exec and switch them up every time I wanted to use the CD or this other thing. Man, I cannot remember what the other thing was. Because I remember I had a 5 1/4 at the beginning, and then I switched to a 3 1/2 because I was moving up in the world, and then I found this old school CD-ROM drive. Some guy sold it to me for like $10 at one of these swap meets or something, because he was even old at that time, the single speed. But I can't remember what else you addressed it in there that took up the memory. Huh, that's been a long time ago. I was like 10 when I was messing with that stuff. I don't remember now. Memory or IRQ. I don't remember how I changed it either. $160 liter and 110 liter. Nice. Fish tanks are so calming. Seventh guess. I didn't play that one. I remember that game, but I didn't play it. No, it's you just haven't been gone that long. We're 65% through. It's just not printing super fast. Zork, that's right. 8088s. I had an old VIC 20 laptop. It was huge. I had it years after it was obsolete, but I just took it apart to see what was in there. But yeah, it was a monster. Keith was working at Clay Como Ford plant. Uh, that is not very far from me at all. We actually took a tour of Clay Como um, when I was in like grade school. You were probably there. It's definitely lower price than a V2. I couldn't tell you for sure if it is better or not, but they have a little bit different feature set, and it is definitely more affordable. John Smith's from Blue Springs, nice. Yeah, so you were definitely there. I'm not sure what board it is. People were speculating that it was a maker-based Robin board. That's pretty common to see in these things. Uh, when our Benchy's done, we'll take a look if it's easy to get to. I don't want to have to tear up a whole lot of things. We'll take a look at the bottom of it when the Benchy's done. It's hard to find someplace that has these in stock. I'll bet it is. It is 32-bit, yes, and it runs 2225 drivers, which are pretty close to the same features as 2208s. Yeah, I remember before I didn't have Windows. That computer wouldn't even run Windows. Well, I take that back. It would if you had enough time. Like 3.0. Um, I remember going to the library. What is that? And getting books on text games. Go to 10, writing GW Basic and Q Basic, writing the text-based games. I remember doing that as a very young child. Amazon has them for 175. Still not a bad price. Blue screen of death 3.0. I just remember it wasn't a whole lot of fun when it first came out. Windows. something in this path. It's the filament sensor. I was gonna say you can hear the, like, just barely, you can hear the filament rub. You can feel it in the filament, like the actual, but it's the sensor housing. It rubs just a little bit coming through there, but it's kind of a ticking sound. I was just hoping it wasn't the extruder motor, and it's not. So that's good. It'll wear the plastic down. It'll be fine. DOS until Windows 95. I used to be really good in DOS. Good question, Bennett. They are not pancake motors. I'm gonna say that's like a 38. They are NEMA 17s. It's a 32. So they're still they're pretty good size, and there's I think the extruder motor is actually a little larger than that. The extruder motor is a 40. So yes, they're using full-size motors. Oh, my favorite guitar. Oh man. That's a tough one. AOL CDs for coasters. 1200 baud. I had an 800 baud modem. That was my first modem for getting on the BBS. Yeah, I think so. Outside of this the plastic extruder, I think you're right. You'd probably have a really decent. You'd have a pretty nice machine that you could print a lot of different flexible filament if you wanted to throw like an EZR on there. That's probably the first drawback. I mean, these work for a while. I mean, you know, they eventually they crack and wear out. They work for a while, but yeah, slap another extruder on here, you shouldn't have any problems if you can get a hold of one of these. Yeah, cooling duct is ES335. There you go. I think my first DOS was 3.1. I think. Cooling duct, the cooling, it could definitely use some more cooling. That's for sure. But somebody said there's already a printed version out there that's much better for this machine. So they're already, the folks in the community are already starting to make parts. So that's good to see. My favorite guitar. I am a big electric guitar fan. If you couldn't tell, I do have some semi-hollow body guitars, and I have a couple of acoustic. But I really like the old solid body style guitars. And I have a lot of guitars that I really like in my collection, but I have a, what year is it? 2000. 2006. I have a 2006 Gibson Explorer that is transparent cherry that I absolutely love. That is probably still my favorite guitar in my whole collection. I would absolutely adore that guitar. CompuServe still around? That's a good question. I don't know. They probably got gobbled up by somebody. I am using Prusa Slicer. I use Prusa Slicer for pretty much everything, but this one was sliced in Prusa Slicer using the Ender 3 profile. Ooh, Cardinal Red 85 Custom Shop Flying V. Now that sounds nice. Okay, Gary, occasionally I will. Occasionally I'll pick it up and play a little bit. I don't play near as much. That used to be my hobby. That used to be all I did was play guitar. But I put it down for a while and I never really went back to it. But I do still occasionally. It's hanging in my office upstairs. I'll pull it down and play it a while. I still enjoy it. PRS Custom. You know, PRS is one of the manufacturers of guitar that I've never owned one. I have looked at them a million times. I'm like, you know what? I really need a Paul Reed Smith. But I've never pulled the trigger on it. Maybe when I retire, I can finally afford a Paul Reed Smith. Yes, there are very slight strings. You can start seeing them now. DOS 3.3 was better. There was one that was just horrible. Um, what it was like, I went from like 3.1 or something like that to 5.0. I upgraded to 5.0, and it like had a bunch of problems or something. It was really buggy, or some. I think that was the version that was really bad. And then I jumped to something like 6.1, if I remember correctly, and it was pretty good. But that was the last one that I ever had. Everything after that was Windows based. Bill Gates was busy improving. 6.2.2, that's what it was. Yep, that I jumped to 6.2.2. You still have DOS on floppies? Nice. I still had two copies of DOS on 3.5-inch discs up until a couple of years ago. I never got into Commodore 64. DOS 4 was bad. Okay. Windows ME. I must have blocked that one out. I almost forgot that that existed. Yeah, it was horrible. A Takamine 12 string, very nice. I haven't seen a Takamine in years. That was like my pastime when I was a kid, though. I would just go hang out at the guitar store and look at stuff. I'm sure they loved it, the people that worked there. But I would go there like every weekend and just wander. That was a huge part of my childhood. It made a lot of money doing green saw. I'll bet it did. I don't know Metal Dad on the YouTube channel Metal Dad. I'd have to check that out though. Just got back from the pool. We're printing a Benchy. It seems to print pretty well. This printer seems okay. Oh, nice, Ron. I remember when those came out, man. That was a big deal. 1995 PV EVH Wolfgang. That was the Van Halen guitar. Those things were stellar. We had a local here. The biggest local guitar store we had here was a PV dealer. So we always got to see the new PV stuff. That thing was cool. Um, Joe Satriani special. Nice. BC Rich, yeah. Justin just subbed. Thank you, Justin. A hug from Brazil. We'll take it. Thank you very much, Dr. 3D Print. A little wispy. I think this would have turned out so much better if we would have gotten the bed heat straight.
Hey Chris, love your videos and you've helped me elevate my prints tremendously. Enjoy a coffee on me. Also, any thoughts on the upcoming Prusa XL?
Alexander, thank you very much for the 5, and I am glad that the videos have helped you out. Any thoughts on the Prusa XL? I really don't have any thoughts on it. I think it's a great idea, what they're doing. I think that's a good direction for them to go in. But I have faith that they will do it correctly. You know, that's the Prusa way of doing things. So I'm just excited to see it. Basically, I just want to see them go ahead and release it. It's going to be pretty sweet. I think it'll be good. Vox guitars to smash them. I remember when I was coming up, like playing guitar, 14, 15 years old. Um, my dad used to, because he used to play guitar in the 60s, and my dad used to tell me about guitars. And you started seeing people play Silvertone guitars, in the 90s. And that, like rock stars were playing Silvertone guitars. And my dad used to tell me all the time, they used to sell those at Sears for like $20. And you got an amplifier in the case. He's like, those are the worst guitars ever. Why would anybody prefer to play one of these things? And now, shoot, you can spend like $600 on a Silvertone guitar if you find one that's decent shape. It's crazy. Uh, I remember him complaining about it though. I was like, these things are really crappy. Oh, that's a shame. I could see where that would be a problem though if you had a shattered wrist. Yep, I'm looking forward to it, Carl. Hopefully, I can still remember how to play guitar by then. Is there a good source for QQS Pro? I do not know, Paul. I'm not sure how FL Sun does their firmware. Um, I would have to get a hold of them and ask them. I'm honestly, I'm not sure what they do. There might be someone in chat that knows though. Nice Taylor's, excellent. Taylor makes a great guitar. Does it have baby steps? That's a good question. Um, it does not appear to have that option. No, no baby stepping. Ate some member berries. Oh, Shane. The guy from the Black Keys. So at least we know who did it. I Yeah, and that's a big thing in guitars. If you don't collect guitars, or you're around guitars, that's a big thing is where they're made, right? And it's changed. The landscape of guitar making has changed a lot in my time. But uh, of course, a lot of manufacturers started shipping stuff overseas. Getting stuff made in China, Indonesia is a big one. Um, but when I was young, like I started looking at guitars, the big thing were Japanese Fenders. Like Fender was always made there in California, but then you started to see Japanese Fenders, and I mean, you always wanted the American one, but they were like twice the price as the Japanese one. And some of the Japanese models were actually really, really nice. They just didn't have the same details as the American ones did. You didn't get the same kind of pickups and switches and stuff like that. Um, but the Japanese ones were pretty nice. And then you started to see a lot of Mexican Fenders and different Mexican guitars, and those were fair. They were always a lot cheaper than even the Japanese ones. But those were pretty fair guitars. Nothing wrong with them at all. But then you started seeing some of the Chinese guitars and stuff, and they were never very good. But yeah, it's changed a lot. About before the time before TV, when I had to walk to school uphill both ways in snow with no shoes on. Dual neck SG. There you go. I never had a dual neck guitar. It would be pretty sweet though. We had the yes, Shane. We had the discussion on TVs earlier, so I saw that on their site, on the Elegoo site. If you look at this printer, they list all the accessories for a resin-based printer. Somebody messed that one up. In a blizzard in June at 4 a.m. And I was happy about it because we liked it. Uh, no, I have never seen a satchel guitar. I have never seen one of those. I don't believe. Max is here. What's up, Matt? TVs and stereos were furniture. That's right. When you got a new TV, you just stacked it on top of the old TV. While everyone laughed at this, I had to live through them. Yeah. Um, most of uh, my dad was drafted at age 18, and so a lot of story when I got the old man stories, when he would tell when I said things were hard when I was young, most of those stories started with when I was in the service, and then it went on from there. So I didn't get the uphill both ways story. I got when I was in the service, and we liked it. This is completely my side gig. I have a more than full-time day job. I just do the YouTube thing for fun. uh, Luther made. Nice. Absolutely, Ron. I was the remote control as well. In fact, I sat on the floor close to the TV so that I was readily available for channel changes. Yeah, Draft didn't send me that. He probably didn't like it either. uh, Washburn, yeah, awesome guitars. I just do streaming to troll companies. Poor 3D printing companies. I'm sorry I do bad things to you. I don't mean to. Thank you, Alex. It is it it leaves you it keeps you pretty busy, but still fun. It is very clean, that is for sure. Stig is here. What is up? Yeah, it looks kind of alright. I think it looks pretty good. Don't sit too close to the TV. I remember, I remember my mom was worried about me standing in front of the microwave. You remember when microwaves came out and they were huge, these huge metal boxes? She was always worried about us standing too close to the microwave while it was working. uh, yep, no profile tuning, stock Ender Benchy. And the house lights would dim, absolutely. And it had, the dial knob. There weren't any buttons on it. Uh, Radio Shack and the Two-Tone. I missed Radio Shack. Now I do feel old. We've been talking about old stuff way too long. Now I do feel really old, but I do miss Radio Shack. Uh, on more than one occasion in the last 40 years, have I ran into Radio Shack just needing like one resistor or just one little part, and they always had one. I miss that where you can't go anywhere and just buy a handful of parts anymore, no matter how expensive they might have been. We could nuke food. That's right. Yeah, Glenn, ours did too. It was just the ding knob. GI Joe just happened to get trapped in the microwave. I remember we'd put CDs in the microwave at like other people's houses. My mom would have killed me if I did it to our microwave, but we'd put the CDs in other people's houses and the lightning would rain down. That was always a good time. Absolutely, the Venture store. We used to go to Ventures a lot. We never had Fry's. I've been to Fry's in other cities, and they are glorious. What a great place. Micro Center's done a pretty good job. I agree. Yeah, I don't really remember Micro Center. Every time I go into Micro Center, it's like a a fog like enters my head, and I'm just completely overwhelmed by looking at everything. Do they actually sell components? Does does Micro Center actually sell like resistors and capacitors and things like that? I don't remember. I never really thought to look, I guess. Fries is no more. I remember we were doing a project in Seattle, and we ran to Fry's because we needed one fiber cable. We were missing one cable, and they had it. Drone shots, what's up? Right, yeah, that's what Radio Shack. You eventually had to buy like 100, of every size or whatever. Still, it was nice though. That's good to know that Micro Center does that. I'm not too far from our Micro Center, so it's about 45 minutes over there probably. I do love to go to there though. I haven't been there in a while. I need to go back and just walk around. They sell microswitches at Micro Center now. Nice. I didn't know that. Lag Roxanne. That sounds interesting. Sweet. They sell SKR boards there now. Nice. Boy, Micro Center's really come up in the world since the last time I was there. Yeah, that's pretty much in my immediate area. We have a Best Buy right up the street. That's pretty much the only thing we have left. They got Proto Pasta too. Nice. You needed a turbo, and they had it. Nice. That's cool, man. I didn't know that they were selling that stuff. I somebody was telling me the other day that SKR boards 1.4s are getting really hard to get. Like if you need a replacement. I don't know if they stopped making them or what. Oh, stream's back. I didn't see any dropped frames, but I don't know what happened. Inland brand filament is decent filament. I used it for years. Um, I used a lot of Inland brand. One, it was affordable. Um, before I started buying stuff from Dave. Now I just buy everything from Dave. Sound like the record skipped. LPC chip shortage? Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you're probably right. Hey, Scott Latine's here. What's up, Scott? Radio shops. That's true. Radio shops used to be a thing. I don't, Shane, that's a great point. I don't know at what point I just decided to never go to a store ever again. Like 2 or 3 years ago, it's like, why go? I'll just send it home and wait for Amazon to bring it. I don't really buy that much stuff anyway. I mean, I really don't require a lot of things. Fortunately, my lovely wife does all of that for me. But I just stopped going to stores. I don't even want to look at stuff anymore. There's nothing to look at. See you later, Tony. SKRRF, it's a fun one. It's a good way to try rep without spending a bunch of money. Electronics will regain their popularity. Hobby towns have tiny Radio Shacks inside? Nice. I did not know that. There might still be a hobby town around here somewhere. I remember going in there a long time ago for RC car parts and stuff. I remember it always being crazy expensive. uh, Poppy Ron is here. What's up, Poppy Ron? Lafayette Radio Electronics. I'm sorry, everyone that feels old after watching this live stream. It had to be done. It was reminiscing Sunday. I'm sorry. There's still a hobby town on North Oak. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it was over there. Scott and I live pretty close to one another. It was over there in that strip mall there off of North Oak forever. Get off my lawn. Uh, I hope I get cranky enough someday to shoo kids off the lawn. That'd be fantastic. It we had a little bit of an issue at the beginning. I was a little worried, but it actually turned out, you're right, way better than I thought it would. We got pretty lucky on that one. So let's let that cool for a moment. I can pick some things up. So really, all in all, this whole thing. Let's just recap a bit. The kit seems pretty nice. There, I did have an issue with one of the holes on the PSU was stripped out, so that'll need a fix. In general, though, everything on it looks pretty good. I mean, a typical extrusion-based printer, you do get filament runout. It's a 32-bit board. It has silent steppers. They are, again, TMC 2225s, which is really close to a 2208. So that's the same kind of features there. It doesn't have belt tension on the Y, but it does have it on the X. So, well, not necessarily a tensioner, but it's a lot easier mechanism to tension. So that's good. The Z end stop is adjustable. I always like to see that. The touchscreen isn't bad. It would be better if it had baby stepping, or you could change the color to something a little different. It's in a kind of a weird position, but not that big of a deal. It does still have a tough touchscreen, and you can't beat the price. All in all, not bad. The only thing that I'm concerned about is the bed. Why is it so much hotter than what it's set at? And I don't know if it's maybe a thermistor issue or maybe a firmware issue, but I will check on that and report back. That thing is probably... it came out okay. Let's let's do one more thing here real quick, though. We'll take a look at this benchy, but I am curious. The thermistor, it's intact. I mean, it's stuck down to the bed fine. I mean, that doesn't look like the issue. So maybe it's firmware related. I'll ask Elegoo about that and let you know what I find out. Let's just have a peek real quick, though, at the, if it's easy to get off, at the main board compartment. I do like to check that out on these streams, just to see how they might have done things inside here. Oh, shame. Decorative rock lawn. That'd make lawn mowing so much better. Unplug? I guess I could. At least we won't be exposed to any AC, but probably not a bad idea. Do I know thermal runaway protection? I do not know. I do not know. If I had I don't know if I have a big enough set of pliers to trip that or not. I could try it. I need to get a fan for down here just for things like that. Just blast it with air until the thermal runaway kicks over. Few short zaps to wake you up. Let's see. Ooh, it has a squirrel cage fan to cool the board off. It says ZNP Robin Nano on it. They did not use ferrules on the wires. They are all hot snotted in place. They have one, that's kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that design before. So there's a look at the board. ZMP Robin Nano, so I'm guessing it is an MKS style board. But you can see down here they have a fifth driver in place that is removable. All the rest are built into the board, but they do have one slot that you can set it up however you want. So that's a little different. I've never seen that before. It looks like they have some extra pins down there that you can play around with, but this is probably for a Wi-Fi module. So there is that. Not a bad board. It does have potentiometers, so you can at least adjust the current, so that's good. Yeah, I mean you could do. It's only got one Z plug, but you could throw another driver down there and do two drivers if you wanted to tweak the firmware. Oh, that's true. We could just disconnect the heater. Extra, yeah, dual Z or an extra extruder, if that's what you wanted to do. So, not bad. I mean, it's not proprietary. You know, I mean, it looks like there's a little room to grow there. Let's just unhook the heater. Oh, of course, they're flat terminals. There you go. Beep. I don't know what's up with the single boot beeps, but not my favorite aspect of 3D printers. Let's just see what it does. Why do they keep using hot glue on all the connectors? I think that's just one of those things that's super easy to do to keep one from falling out while they ship it. Just a little extra insurance. They seem to all do it, though. It's been trying to print for 52 seconds, hasn't hit it yet. Those things are usually set to like 20 seconds, aren't they? Yeah, that's a shame. Maybe if I ask them real nice, they will send us an updated firmware. Elegoo did say, and I forgot to get it before the stream, of course, they did say that they would have some discounts for you, for my viewers. I will, as soon as I get the code, if you're looking for one of these, as soon as I get a code from Elegoo, I will put out a YouTube post about it and let you know. I will also add it to the description of this video. But they did say that they would have some sort of discount on this machine for my peoples. So I definitely want to get that to you if they send me something. Just curious, real quick, of what the config looks like. So I'm going to say there is no thermal runaway. That's unfortunate. It does have power off resume. I just confirmed that. EEPROM. Yeah, that's a shame. We'll talk to Elegoo about that and what's in their firmware. I will mention that when I report back to them why they might be doing that without thermal runaway. So that's unfortunate. But it is what it is. Absolutely. Open source firmware for the win. Thank you, Mr. Latine, for all the work you do for us. We appreciate it. Okay. Oh, you want to look at the Benchy, right? It is running Marlin, yes. So the Benchy, all in all, looks pretty decent. It came out a lot nicer than I thought it was going to from when it started. So it looks really good. The only issues we had were down here. But I think that was mainly caused because that bed is so much hotter than what it's actually reading. So we need to figure that out. Because after I got away from the bed, it started cooling it down enough, and it came out great. So I got to figure that part out. That's no good. But other than that, it's pretty sharp. Not bad at all. And a lot of that, again, can be tuned out. You can slicer tune your way out of a lot of those situations. So it looks nice. Yep, needs to be patched for thermal runaway. I'm definitely going to take that to them, though. I will ask them, see if they have a newer firmware where that's enabled something like that. But they definitely need to get that on there. So that's it. That's it for today. We should all thank Scott every month. I know I do. By Patreon support. So thank you for everybody that joined. Thanks for all the super chat tips. That is much appreciated. Again, this is going to be the last unboxing type printer deal we're going to do for a little bit. Not the last live stream though. We're going to have some more live streams, things we got to build. I got a lot of different projects I want to get to, but the last unboxing style. So no big deal. I will keep you updated about the codes on this and what Elegoo does. I will put out a YouTube post hopefully sometime tomorrow with all of that info. And you know, this might be the printer for you. There's a few little things here and there that you might have to fix up, but it's definitely affordable, and it's the most affordable Ender 3 style printer that I've seen, and it seems to turn out a decent print. So we'll see what they do with it. Not bad. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go have some food. Hopefully everybody has a great rest of their weekend. I will see you very, very soon. Again, thank you all for joining. Take care. Stay cool. There's one more week of the Olympics. Go watch some stuff.